Emily is a youth ambassador and she absolutely loves wheelchair rugby. Emily is involved with Target's current advertising campaign and her favourite colour is yellow. We'd also like to make very welcome our special guest today, His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, AC, DSC retired, Governor of New South Wales. Barney Pelleggi, event ambassador and Rio Olympic gold medalist in the Rugby Sevens. And Gary Dragsfield, CEO of Suncorp Group. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to pass over to Ben Eisenhuth.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the GIO 2018 IWRF Wheelchair Rugby World Championship Gold Medal Final. It's taken 6 physical days and 41 intensive matchups, but we are finally down to just 2. The undefeated of world number 1, the Australian Steelers, led by Batten Bond, clash up against the one of Japan, where Captain Ike and Ikazaki look to spoil the Australians' party. Here, live in the world-class Key Centre, in the beautiful Sydney Olympic Park, strap yourselves in for some of the most thrilling skills and physical feats ever seen on 2 wheels. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Wheelchair Rugby. Up first, the challengers from Japan, led out by team captain, Yukinobu Ike.
It's a great pleasure to welcome you to the Key Centre, Sydney Olympic Park, and the arrival of Japan for the gold medal match, the GIO 2018 IWRF Grand Final, wheelchair rugby, the gold medal match, Japan and Australia. And Japan, surprise packets in this final, disposed of the United States in their semi very impressively. And who's to say they can be denied here? It's going to take a special effort from the home team, but Australia, as defending champions, as Paralympic champions, come in as slight favourites. But it always has to be said that Japan can produce anything. They're so skillful, so committed, and so ready for this one. This would be their biggest achievement in wheelchair rugby if they could get the job done today. Big welcome to Jono Farr and Molly Gray. Jono, what are you expecting?
Oh, look, this should be an absolute barn burner of a game. Molly and I saw this game between these two sides on Wednesday. They put on a strong contest. Australia on that occasion were just too dominant. It's the loud roar for the Steelers. Echoes around the Key Centre here at Homebush. Wonderful to see the Steelers led out by their captain, Riley Back. It should be an absolute classic. I'm predicting this one to be really, really close, possibly going into overtime.
And Molly, as an international rugby player, you know what it's like to receive this kind of welcome representing your country. Is that weight of expectation a help or a hindrance?
You know what? I think when you've got a massive crowd like this here today, I think this is going to give the Australians the boost that they need. But also they've just got to remember that they've played so consistently over the last week as well. So they just have to stick to their game plan, play their game, play to their strengths, and I think they will do absolutely fine.
Well, time will tell the story. The glorious unpredictability of sport. We can sit here and postulate about what might come, but it's these players in front of us who are going to determine it all. And we're standing by now for the anthems of both teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for both the national anthems of Japan and Australia.
Enormous respect between these teams for each other. The 12 in it by 30 against Ireland, beat Japan by 7, and in a very tight semi-final, 59-57. What did that take out of the team? Well, we'll know in a little while. But, the starting fours are on the court. It is Japan in red, of course, as we get underway. It's the 2018 gold medal match, and Japan with first possession.
Nice tip-off from Ike. Ike has some work to do. Just tries to go around Riley Bat. Punches it forward. Nicely to Daisuke Ikazake. Look for the veteran to lift in this final. And Japan get us underway with the first try. Nice start from Japan. They worked it nicely through the middle, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew this game was going to be a tough one for both sides, but I think the most important thing that each side needs to do is come out strong and come out as hard as they can. Use their intimidation and their force to work their way around the court.
Chris Bond just getting a tyre change there. I think we're up to about 97 in the tyre change category. 72 was the previous record in the national championships last year, where Japan, they won gold against Canada, Steve. So Japan find themselves on this court once again battling for gold.
Well, that was part of the mission, wasn't it, coming here for those championships last year, to be familiar with the court and see what conditions are like here. And Australia having a bit of a battle.
Nice step away
inbound, but yeah, nicely done. And Chris Bond looking for some help from Bat.
Works his way nicely to Bat. Bat just lifts it. Nice work from Ozan. Bat just changes direction, looks for some options. Bondi's working the key nicely. Ben Forser protects the line. Back to Bond, and the Australians respond. 1-1 here at the key centre, and the crowd, they live for that try. Nice pass inbound from Noromatsu to Ike. Ike across court. Daisuke Ikazaki now for Japan. Starting to move through. 30 seconds gone in this quarter. Beautiful pass over the top to Ike. And Japan responding spectacular fashion, Molly.
Yeah, I think Japan have got they're definitely on the right track here. What they need to do is really get one player away from all of the chaos and all of the contact. And as soon as they do that, that's when they'll start to get some tries on the board. If they play in a bit tight, I think Australia are really going to give them a run for their money there.
Nice pass down court to Chris Bond, the big Queenslander looking for the line. Going at Ike, and he wins that battle. Japan, they are now 2 each with Australia. This is a great game, Steve. Back and forth wheelchair rugby.
Yeah, just an early pattern emerging about how Australia was trying to free themselves from the defensive press of Japan with the long outlet ball to Bond. See if that is diffused by Japan.
Ikazaki works through the middle. Has Ike on his fringe. Nice work from Kishi through the middle. Ikazaki pivots and spins nicely around Bondi, and Noromatsu, the veteran, goes over for the try for Japan, and it gives them the lead 3-2. Both sides really giving a lot here, Molly. Hard to really pick a side that's on top at the moment.
Well, it was hard to pick which side was on top the other day as well. That was probably one of the toughest games that I've seen all week, the Australia versus Japan in the pool matches. And, it had us going all the way until the very end, and I suspect that today will be the exact same.
John O'Farr, Molly Gray and Steve Rebilliard, your commentary team for this gold medal match. It's wonderful to have your company, not just today for this match, but right across the past 6 days. Here at either the netball centre or the key centre is Ikazaki. Works it nicely to the key, and he gets the try there, which gives them the lead 4-3. So just slowed it down a little bit there, Japan on the flank, and they got the result regardless, but it just seemed a little too easy for Japan on that case, Steve.
Yeah, let's see what the response is from Bond, and he just sets off. Nice little set play. But in a match as important and as tight as we expect it to be, even winning the initial tip-off to put Japan in front by that one. Sure, it's 4-4 now, but I think turnovers, there's not going to be many of them.
So Ike will work it nicely through the middle. Just goes hard at Bat there. Nice pass across. Daisuke Ikazaki positions himself beautifully. He tries to go around Bat. Kishi couldn't get the pass. Possible changeover here. Bat picks it up. Absolutely brilliant from the Steelers. Oh, that's given them the lead. And listen to the roar, Molly. They're behind the home side.
Do you know what? There are no surprises there from Riley Bat. He has to be one of the fastest players that we've seen all week. He is so strong, so dynamic, and just so quick. The way that he pumps his arms down the court, no surprises there.
And that last touch will go against Australia, so the ball stays with Japan, and the inbounds are from Noromatsu.
So he'll give the pass across. A reach out there from Ike. Okay, just slides through past Bondi, working hard to try and get to that try line, but Bondi stops him at that right flank. Now he comes back towards the middle. Nice work there. Noramatsu blocks beautifully. Hand pass over the top. And Daisuke Ikazaki scores for Japan. And that brings us to 5-4 in favour of the Australians. A change over there for Riley Batt and the Steelers, which really changed things.
And Bond is in the penalty box for transgression just as that last try was being scored by Japan.
So to Ikazaki, he's just got a couple of seconds to go, 33 seconds in fact to be accurate. He just holds it on the key. You can see the head-on shot there courtesy of our broadcast partner B Live Streaming. Nice work from Ikazaki, and Molly, we're all square at 5 apiece.
You know what? I was expecting something like this to happen, so there's no surprises again that we are sitting 5 at 5. But you know, it's all about taking the chances, playing to their strengths, and I think that's what both sides are doing right now.
Nice work to Bat down the flank. Oh, limited real estate. How on earth do you do that? Left and right. The Batman.
Really?
Form. Oh, the first dad joke of the game goes to Steve Rebilliard.
And we've got a wheel needed.
Have a look at this, Molly. Works it nicely, just through the gap.
I love it. I love watching him come up on one wheel. I think it just goes to show how much experience he's got, and he's so dynamic and good balance as well.
Oh, I thought the joke was better than the move.
Well, you know, this is what the crowd comes to see, the dynamic athleticism of the players, the use of the chair, the balance, the commitment. You know, the sport's got so much to offer, and Bat working hard in defence. Daisuke turning him inside out.
Goes to Noramatsu. Big punch there from Chris Bond. The crowd in front of Bondi launch and roar as Noramatsu goes out of bounds. 6-5 now, Australia leading this one. About 5 minutes to play before quarter time. If this is your first game of wheelchair rugby, welcome to the family. 4 quarters of 8 minutes, and then, of course, Steve, if required, we go to extra time, and it's just 3-minute periods until we get that result.
So, as Noramatsu was pushed out, they must have called a timeout. They just used a timeout here to protect possession, so smart use of it. And the first from Japan, Australia's already used a couple.
Haga will inbound to Ike. Ike just slows down the clock now. 20 seconds left on that shot clock. He now sets sail for that try line. Tries to go inside. Nice work there from Shimakawa. Good close action close to the line. And the try comes for Japan. Beautifully read by Masayuki Haga on that occasion. And Japan now, they just get back in tail with the Australians. 6 apiece. Nice work from Bondi and Bat. Working nicely. Shimakawa tries to go at the line. Here comes Bondi through the middle. Work from Bat was brilliant on that occasion. The head-on shot shows it beautifully. Look at the crowd rise as one. And Bondi goes through, which gives Australia the lead. 7-6 now, 4.5 to play.
Ike just reached out, tried to get his hands on the flying Bond, but no chance.
So Japan now on the attack. Shimakawa working it up mid-court. Got some work to do. Ike on the flank. Riley back trying to cause a few dramas there. Shimakawa. Nice pass across. Masayuki Haga. He gets the try for Japan. He's calling for a tie, Molly. Must have got smashed close to the line.
Well, there's been some heavy hits out there, and, you know, we always see Chris Bond and Riley Batt going in so hard as well. So no wonder there's been some tyre changes already.
Kai Kurahashi on for Japan. She's a 0.5 player. Sport open to men and women. A number of outstanding female players here this week. And Kurahashi's been around a while. Great contributor for Japan.
So Bondi to Ozan. So 2 Queenslanders combining nicely for the Steelers. Bondi will go through. Such wonderful support here at the Key Centre, Molly. Not just today, but all week. But the crowd, they're really loving this one today here, Molly.
Yeah, they are, and the crowd has been amazing all week. What I love through the week, when you usually find that it starts to get a little bit quiet, there were a lot of schools here, and the kids really got into it, and it was so great to see. And today is, today has definitely been lifted by the amount of people that are here in the Key Centre.
There was some pressure on that pass to Yukinobu, but it was right on the money.
Captain's goal for Japan. So Ben Fawcett will go back to the key to inbound it for Australia. Michael Ozan just causing a few dramas for Shimakawa. Bondi as well. Ball from Fawcett to Bat. A Victorian to a New South Welshman. Look at Bondi and Bat just get through there nicely. Oh, brilliant stuff. The connectivity from Australia. Absolutely special on that occasion. Brilliant stuff. It was started by a Queenslander and finished by a Queenslander. And Australia, they lead it by 9-8 with 3:42 left in this term. Nice work through the middle. Shimakawa just trying to get there. Bat working hard to get him. 3:33 left in the term. Nicely played. Smart stuff from Shimakawa.
Yeah.
Found his man out wide. And the captain, Yukinobu Ike, goes through for the try for Japan.
Yeah.
9-all, Steve.
Bond left with 2 to mark there, and it was a no-win situation defensively.
So the crowd rises one for Kaya Kurahashi, who's on the court. A wonderful 0.5 player, as Steve mentioned. As Bat works it nicely. Just goes through to Bondi. Kaya Kurahashi tries to go at Bondi. Bondi must have thought for half a second, Molly, that Kaya Kurahashi was coming for him. And he goes for a bit of a spill. Let's hope he's okay, because he landed awkwardly. Take us through this replay.
Oh, you can just see here that, once Bondi gets the ball, he takes off and he sees her coming in and sort of like takes it a little bit easy, it seems. Didn't really know where she was and took a bit of a spill, but credit to her. She just got in there nice and slow and tipped him over.
So tyre change for Team Japan as Ike now gets possession. Oh, over the head pass, if you don't mind. Masayuki Haga goes to Shimakawa, and Japan, they respond in magnificent fashion.
Oh, that's skill. We've admired all week the placing of the ball at pace in front of the player, and no one does it better than Japan.
So Fawcett works it from the line. Just tries to look for some opportunities. Has Bondi and Bat. Bat just says, give it here, champ. Gets it. Tries to work his way through some heavy traffic. A bit like the M4 on a 4 o'clock on a Friday. Nicely worked through. And he gets there nicely, Riley Bat. 10 apiece, becomes 11-10. Australia now lead it by 1 with 3 to play.
It's like an all-wheel drive, just goes over the top of the traffic.
Bit like a Land Rover. Nicely worked from Kurahashi. Oh, big collision there. Bondi's got the ball. Huge opportunity for the Steelers. Oh, they got a 2-point lead, Molly. What a try. What a lift. What a game so far.
How good was that? Those two Japanese players there seemed like they collided a little bit. You can see on the replay just here where Bondi gets the ball. Oh, and yep, you can see it. The Japanese players run into each other and just clears up some space for Bondi.
Oh, nearly another one. Who's going to be quickest to this one?
Shimakawa looks like he'll get it.
Oh, a bit fortunate.
Lucky break there for Shimakawa and Team Japan. And they bring the margin back to 1 as Bat works it through traffic. Just heavy pressure, but finds a way through. And Riley Bat, who would have to be looking pretty close at getting MVP honours, or certainly in that dream team that'll be announced later on in the final presentation and the closing ceremony, scores another try for the Australians. 13-11, 2:20 to play left in this first term.
Just think with that amount of time left in the quarter, you'll start to see some tactics around working the clock. Australia would, they can take a lead of 2 into the first break. They'll be quite happy with that, Bat. But to do that, you've got to work the clock. Make sure Japan doesn't get back to the 1-goal margin or the 1-try margin. But
so Bat gets the try there. 14-12 now. Australia still by 2 with 2 to play in this first term. Nice inbound to Shimakawa. He just tries to work around a couple. Has Ike in front of him. Kaya Kurahashi trying to stop Riley Bat. Does particularly well on that occasion. Ike and Bondi collide, but Ike will just soak up some time. Almost loses it close to the line. Oh, geez, Molly. Riley almost had a steal in exceptional circumstances.
That was some good pressure there. He never gives up. Every time you find throughout the week, a lot of the times that he's gone into those contact areas, he's reached in for the ball a lot. So no surprises that he's done it there again.
It's got to be done legally, though. It'll end up in the penalty box as he's nearly tipped himself by Rukanobu Eke.
90 seconds to go before quarter time. 15-13 in favour of Australia. So that 2-point try line is just so vital at this stage, isn't it? As Shimakawa works it nicely through the key. Has Ike on the flank, but Bondi, the little pest, he tries to get in there. Tries to tap away. Shimakawa spinning and turning. Now he tries to work inside that attacking zone. There's a couple of options in front of him. Interesting to see what the veteran does here. And Shimakawa, now he comes. Bondi and Bat give him some grief. Pops the pass over the top. Nicely worked to the captain and Yukinobu Ike. And Ike just ticks over with literally seconds on the clock. About 7, in fact. And now Bondi will inbound to Bat. So quick procession here from the Australians. Bat just slows down. Nice work from Ozan. The beards are combining beautifully. Here comes Bat through the middle. Tries to work it nicely. Bondi just coming through there. Ben Fawcett now working hard in attack. Nicely worked from Bat. He's inside that attacking zone. 15-14. Just over 30 seconds to play before quarter time. Bat just tries to come at Shimakawa. Shimakawa now goes to the try line. Ike says, I'll take him. Bondi trying to come into that line. Ozan working nicely and trying to keep a few Team Japan players out. Bat works hard. You can hear the clock counting down. 2 seconds left. Timeout called by Riley Bat. Not a bad call, Molly, with that one. Bit of pressure from Team Japan.
Yeah, that was some really great use there of their timeouts. You know, he worked the shot clock all the way down to the last second, and we only have 15 seconds left on the actual clock, which means that when they go back into play, they'll have another 15 seconds on the shot clock. So that was a really smart move there by Riley Bat.
Yeah, it's using up some timeouts early. That's the dilemma. Bat. There's 8 seconds left. It's got to be clever here.
Works it to the line. Bat just tries to get some points. Look at the determination from the big New South Welshman. Battling to the line. 1 second left. Brilliant protection from Ike. The celebration and the high five with Haga sums it up. What a first quarter, Steve.
Oh, great defensive pressure and organisation from Japan to deny Australia that lead of 2 that they were looking for, that they had established. So 15-14 at the first break. And some honours there in the last few seconds for Japan. Oh, great opening quarter. Oh, who's it to be? I don't know.
Hard to call. Hard to call, Steve. You know, a terrific first quarter. The results going the way I expected. Bondi and Bat just coming together as one, really playing their role. But, you know, Ben Fawcett, he's, you know, playing a nice little defensive role as well as Michael Ozan. Daisuke Ikazake and Shimakawa stepping up for Japan. Who's some of the players in the either side, you know, that are going to be the ones that be the difference maker in the team? You know, they're the guys that have got to step up. Both sides have got a lot of veterans in them.
I think it's more a game of tactics than individuals, because you see that Australia scores more easily on the fast break. When they're trying to milk the clock and just wind it down, and the Japan defence gets time to get organised, it's very hard for Australia with 10 seconds to go to just suddenly penetrate.
Molly, a player that's really impressed me for Team Japan, Sayo Noramatsu, considered a veteran in the team. You've played a lot of rugby at this level. You know, what aid is those veterans in the side? How much of a difference do those sort of guys make in a team?
Well, what they bring to the field is leadership and guidance as well. So sometimes you find that when you've got those types of players out there, ones who have got heaps of experience, they just know how to keep a cool head on their shoulders. You know, you get younger players who are very talented and very skilled, but sometimes in games like this, they can start to lose their head a little bit. So it's those experienced players that bring you back in, bring you back down to earth and get you back on track.
So we're about to start the second term here. Thanks for your company here at the Key Centre for this final of the GIO IWRF 2018 Wheelchair Rugby World Championship. John O'Farr, Molly Gray and Steve Rabilid in commentary today. And Riley Bat gets the job done 10 seconds in, and already Australia on the board, Steve.
Yeah, we don't want to give a big shout out and thank you to Disability Sports Australia, the IWRF, GIO, City, Land Rover, the state and federal governments. They've all made an enormous contribution to allowing this tournament to happen. And the teams and spectators appreciate the opportunity. that we've been given here in 2018.
As Ike scores for Japan, and here come Australia. Almost lost it there, Riley Bat, but he's controlled it beautifully around. Ikazaki moves it nicely through Kurahashi. Great work from Ryan Scott in protection. But Japan, they get a vital turnover. And that really changes things now, Molly. 16 apiece, 7 to go before half-time.
I don't think we've seen that all week, actually. Every time Riley Bat gets the ball, he manages to hold on to it quite easily. But right now, I mean, I haven't seen that.
So a good change over there. Ben Fawcett gives it nicely inbound to Bondi, who gives it to Bat. Bat just works inside the key. Bit of a collision there between Fawcett and a member of Team Japan. Comes across now. Bat looking for another try in the final, and he goes through and breaks the deadlock. So 7 to play, Steve. Australia have the lead narrowly, but Ikazaki says you're not going to have it for long because he goes over to score.
And they score in 5 seconds. This sort of quick, easy response can really hurt Australia when they've got to spend a lot more energy getting their tries.
So now inbound it soon from Australia. It looks like there's been a change there. Ben Fawcett was going to be the man, or are they going back that way? They will inbound it from the corner. And they're just deciding on a player to go with. Interesting tactic there. So Japan will get possession. So Masayuki Haga. Interesting call there. Not sure what took place, but it's now gone to Ike. Ike tries to work it, gives it back to Ikazaki. Ikazaki, the head-on shot, shows it well. But Japan, they fumble close to the line. Bit of a collision close to the bench of Australia. Daisuke Ikazaki went straight into Josh Nicholson, who went straight into one of the coaching staff. So a bit of a shuffle of the deck, but a crucial handling error for Team Japan, Molly, and a very interesting situation here for the Steelers.
Yeah, it is a bit of an interesting situation. I mean, Japan got the ball back, and then, but were fast to call that timeout as well. So that was some really great timing and great vision.
So Haga will inbound. Take 2 for Team Japan. Nicely worked in. And they get the try on that occasion and get the lead, 18-17. Geez, you blink and you'll miss a lot in this game, Steve Rebilliard.
Yeah, it's a 4-2 start to the second quarter from Japan. So they've done what's required. And Kevin Orr, the coach, who's been coaching wheelchair rugby for about 30 years, the former American and Canadian and Japanese coach, he's seen it all, done it all.
Oh, what about the pass from Bat to Bond? That's brilliant use of the molten ball. And we're 18 all, 6.5. Wonderful hustle there, Steve, close to the line.
Not exactly the longest pass you're going to see today. Here.
Nice pass across from Ikazaki. Goes to Ike, and the two senior members of the side combined well there on that occasion. Good long coast-to-coast pass.
I suppose the other side of what we're saying about Japan occasionally scoring very easy end-to-end tries is that when Australia is working hard to score theirs, Japan is having to work equally hard in defence. So, it's going to take it out of both teams.
Ben Fawcett to inbound it for the Steelers. Nice work from Bondi. Bondi fires the pass, but it goes to Ike. Oh, big mistake from the Steelers. Timeout called for Team Japan.
No, I think Bondi's been called for the holding or the reaching.
Big crucial mistake there. The ball sort of came loose, so he spent some time in the box, and Australia are down to 3. 19-18 in favour of Team Japan, and they have got possession as Haga will inbound it. Just to Ike. Ike to Ikazaki. Ikazaki over the top. Haga, where did he come from? Bat flies hard nicely to Ikazaki. Now tries to get the pass again. Oh, seamless stuff from Team Japan, Molly Gray.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Japan are doing really well. Their defence has been really amazing today, and they've got a couple of turnovers, and then just obviously having Chris Bond in the penalty box then really left Australia quite vulnerable. And as much as Riley Bat did his best to try and defend two players, how can one person defend two people? So it's no wonder there that Japan got over the line, which now takes Japan to 20 points, and Australia are sitting at 19.
Yeah, it's a rejuvenated effort from Japan in this second quarter. They were trailing 15-14, and they're up 20-19.
So 2 timeouts used for Team Japan. They still have their 2 coaching timeouts. For Australia, they have 3 timeouts left and just the 1 coaching timeout. So that's almost the tail of the tape with a score at 20-19 with 5:54 to go just before the halftime break, which will be the main break. 5 minutes for rest and recovery just to recoup as Ike gives it nicely to Ikazaki. Ikazaki, nice little pass across to Haga. And Haga goes through and he gets the margin back to 2 tries. So now Bondi will just go in that key and set up for another try fest for Australia. What can he do here? Bondi looking for an option, has Fawcett. Bat's tied up there. Nice work from Ikazaki. The 2 3.5 players going at it. Looks like Brad Duberly's called a coaching timeout.
The setup was pretty ugly for Australia there. They were going to struggle to get possession from the inbound.
So you can see the coaching staff just having a board meeting. That's all sorted now.
Let's go, folks.
Australia will inbound it. Bondi now behind that roar from the Australian crowd. Wonderful to see so many people here for this stellar event in wheelchair rugby, the final. Both teams battling for gold. Who's it going to be? Bondi works it nicely through the key. Just tries to get to the line. Brilliant stuff from Ryan Scott, the Queenslander. A Maroon protecting a Maroon. Bondi tries to come through. Call's gone to Australia on that occasion. And Bondi looks a little bit confused on the vision, but not sure what that was for.
Be Japan's ball. I don't know whether they just didn't get it out of the backcourt in time, if it was a backcourt violation.
So maybe the 12-second violation. Ike under some pressure, has some players around him. Geez, I thought he panicked a little bit there. I thought Molly probably could have got a pass away. He had Ikazaki in front of him. Might have panicked and they might have burnt a timeout where they could have saved one there, Molly.
Yeah, I was expecting them to try and get the pass away, but they didn't for some reason. But you know what? This gives Australia the opportunity to get the ball back in hand and actually start to make some things happen. You can see that the Japanese side is putting a lot of pressure on them, though, and it seems to be working because Japan is sitting 2 points ahead. So if Australia want to win this, they've really got to start knuckling down and putting in the hard yards.
As Noramatsu will inbound for Japan. Finds himself on the halfway line. Nice pass into Ike. Ike to Ikazaki. Ikazaki has Kishi in protection. Noramatsu gives a bump and shove to Riley Bat. And Team Japan respond. 22-19. Margin now 3 points, Steve. Interesting turn of events in this second half.
Yeah, it's massive turnaround by Japan. They squeezed a couple of turnovers out of Australia. And you just have to wonder whether Australia's tough semi-final has had an effect on their readiness for this game.
Jabs works hard. Jaden Warren tries to give the ball away to Bat. Bat works to the left-hand side. Noramatsu says, you're not coming this way. Bat will regroup. And 4 in the key is the call. So 22-19. Australia in desperate need for a try here to get themselves well and truly back in contention. Looks like a player in the bench, and that'll be the captain, Yukinobu Ike. So Steve, Japan down to 3.
Yeah, in the penalty corner he goes. Penalty box, at least. Penalty corners from some other game.
Well, there's a few meshing in this game, so it's not far off.
Okay, it was.
So
22-20.
So Kevin Orr has called a coach's timeout. So they're down to 1 and 1 regular timeout. 2 timeouts for Australia and just the 1 coaching timeout. 22-20, 4:52. Australia, they really need to lift there. There's Coach Kevin Orr on screen, just giving his final instructions before his team goes back on. Great support for the home side here, Steve, not just today but all week.
Yeah, and generous support for all teams playing against Australia as well. And Kevin Orr knew what he was in for when he brought this Japanese team to Australia. He was here last year, a man originally from Illinois.
So Ikazaki just Tries to move it nicely through Jaden Warne. Couldn't quite get him on that occasion, Molly, but nice little one-on-one battle close to the try line.
Yeah, that was. And you could just see there, though, that Ikazake is just a little bit more, I guess, for better words, he's quite a little bit more ferocious today than Jaden Warne.
So inbound to Bondi. In fact, that's Jason Lees. So Jason Lees with a nice inbound and jabs. Oh, two Victorians combining well there. And Australia get the try, Steve.
Now, Jaden Warne's mother was asked before the game, where did he get the nickname Jabs from? And she says, I have absolutely no idea.
Probably ask his teammates, I'd say.
Yeah.
You would have come up with some creative nicknames, Molly.
I was always really terrible at nicknames.
Really?
Yeah, and I've never had one.
Well, don't worry, I can come up with something.
Oh, here we go.
24-21. So we've had a few over the week, haven't we, for various different members of the production team from the Be Live streaming crew.
Thank you to Father Todd.
Oh, can't wait for that Sunday sermon.
You guys. 24-21, and these are worrying moments for the Australian Steelers, who find themselves in a bit of a hole. 4 minutes 18 out from half-time in the gold medal game. Great to have you with us wherever you might be watching, streaming it all around the place.
So speaking of nicknames, the man they call Banger gives it to Batman. Batman flies it over the top. Oh, that'll be a hat-trick of nicknames. Jabs gets the try. Banger to Batman to Jabs. Beautiful synergy there for Australia. 24-22. Japan still by 2, just over 4 to play as Noramatsu looks for a player to inbound to, but calls a timeout.
And the Australians applaud the fact that they've forced Japan to use a timeout, and Kevin Orr calls them over quickly for a brief word.
Second time that they've panicked there a little bit, Japan. I thought again Noramatsu had a few options, but just didn't go.
You've got to be able to see them. We're sitting a lot higher up here than they are. Sometimes that's the issue. That,
that's true.
Through traffic, you can't see whether a player is really free or not. The other thing that's interesting, Jono and Molly, is that we're shooting and film and watching from side on. Sometimes end on. You can see the channels opening and closing even better.
That is very true. And now Ikazaki works it. Noramatsu tries to block out Jabs. Nicely worked to Ikazaki, the veteran working his way nicely. Side swipes, force it, tries to go at the line. But the Batman stops him at the line.
He's given up the try there.
So 25-22, a penalty try to Team Japan. And Jason Lees will inbound it. I know little Coda Bear will be watching her dad in the stands. So Lees passes it inbounds nicely, gives it to Riley Bat. Bat over the top, jabs in open court. Master to the apprentice.
Just having a little dip under the arm there was Ike. But Warne has seen all that before.
25-23. Good intensity in this game, Molly, so far. 3:46 to go in the second term, first half, but it's been a pretty good game so far between these two heavyweights of wheelchair rugby.
Yeah, absolutely. What I like about the Australian side as well is that we've always known that Chris Bond and Riley Bat have been such a good team, but then they can substitute in Jaden Warne, and he still brings the same amount of intensity to the court as well. So that just goes to show the depth in the Australian side. And same goes for the Japanese side.
What a mistake. The wheel's going over the back line from Jason Lees, and I think this is a turnover before the inbound ball, and that is a killer with 3.5 to go to halftime.
Yeah, referee's timeout called, so there'll be a tyre change for Ikazaki, as you can see. Interesting replay here. Noramatsu came in and just crossing the line there. So crucial mistake for the Australian Steelers. Some work to do for them. I didn't think I'd be saying that in this final, but shows you just the strength of Japan. Nicely inbound to Haga into Shimakawa.
And they're leading by 4, 3.5 out from halftime.
Big lead in a final. Big lead as Bondi is back on court for Australia. And again, a timeout called. So Australia have called the timeout. So I think they'll be down to 1. unless it's a coach's timeout. Yeah, so they're down to 1 timeout. Japan, interestingly enough, don't have any timeouts left, but they've got 1 coach's timeout, which is quite fascinating, actually. I didn't think Japan would go that easy, Molly, on timeouts so quickly, and we're not even at half-time.
I didn't think so either, and I think that they gave at least 2 of them up a little bit unnecessarily as well. So maybe they've wasted those because, like you said, we're only in the tail end of the second period. We've still got 2 more to go. So Australia are lucky.
Yeah, they could have spent them wisely, though. They're 4 in front out against the world champions and Paralympic champions. So maybe it's a good investment.
So nicely worked through Bondi, and Bondi just flies through that big hole. And now Masayuki Haga will inbound for Team Japan. Nice pass across. Shimakawa, some work to do. Kaya Kurahashi trying to stop 2 players there. Does well. Quick pass across court. Brilliant stuff from Team Japan. And they build on that 4-point lead now. 28-24. 3:15 to go.
Yeah, the Australians trying to put the pressure on hard and early, and if it doesn't work, there's a Japanese player free down court, and that's what they're finding pretty regularly.
So now Ben Fawcett will play it from the key. Tries to inbound it, gives it away nicely to Bondi. Bondi pivots and spins around Ikazaki. Nice work from Ozan in protection. Here comes Fawcett creating the gap. Moves nicely through the key. Bat is just ahead of him. Bondi some work to do. But the 12-second rule has come into play.
Oh, they had half a second left and didn't get there. So yet another turnover, and this is brilliant defence from Japan.
Those basic mistakes, they can be costly in a big game like this, Molly.
Oh, they can, can't they? You know, you've got 2 teams who are so highly skilled in this game, and it all comes down to who can hold on the longest and who can make the least mistakes, you know, and unfortunately for Australia right now, it's them who is making the most mistakes. And Japan, they just get, look at that, they just get over the line so easily, and they're just setting themselves up in really good positions for really good open play.
Might be harsh on the Japanese defence to call it a mistake by Australia not getting out of the backcourt when really it is just top draw defence from Japan.
So now Japan to inbound it. Nice pass across court. Great work from Ikazaki. Moves through the key. Trying to get there. Shimakawa comes across. Nice protection. Now Ikazaki just trying to find a hole there. The head-on shot there shows it nicely. The low shot, great pass over the top, but that'll go to the referee, not to a player. So 29-25. And Riley Batt, I reckon that's the first time he's been in the penalty box.
Well, it's going to be a lead of 5 for Japan shortly.
So 29-25 in favour of Japan. Nicely worked by Ikazaki. Has Shimakawa just in the fringe.
And they're just setting up a player to take care of Riley Batt on the restart once he's released from the box.
So the work to do for Ikazaki, now just trying to size up some opposition. Kaya Kurahashi trying to stop Michael Ozan. Bondi nicely worked, just slips through. Ikazaki will take off some more time. 2 seconds left on the clock. Oh, geez. Timed it pretty finely there, Molly, close to the line for the try for Team Japan.
They did, but you know what? It's all about at this stage of the game, it's all about winding down that clock as much as they can. When you've got Riley Batt off the court, there's not as much pressure out there. So it's a smart move by Japan.
Bondi works it nicely down the flank. Ikazaki just says, "Nah, you're not coming this way." Bondi works it through the middle. Oh, beautiful stuff. Wonderful slipstream there from Chris Bond. Australia, they peg back. 32-26 now. Just over 90 seconds to play. Ikazaki trying to get away from Batt. Oh, just a bit of a bump and shove with Riley Batt there. Ikazaki works nicely. Here comes Kaya Kurahashi. Ikazaki fires the pass across. Might have been just out of the reach of Shimakawa, and it was. But Masayuki Haga comes up the flank and does his best to get the points. Oh, just so many numbers inside the key, Steve.
Yeah, but he's made contact with the cone. So they needed a turnover in that last 90 seconds before half-time, and they've got one. So let's see what the Australians can do with that.
Bondi.
Just wondered where the turnover was going to come from. It came in an unusual fashion, really.
Nicely worked from Bat. Bat just works it at the key. Tries to go through. Oh, look at him move across the court. Just ties it up nicely. Just over a minute to play before half-time. 30-26 in favour of Team Japan.
This is where Australians have struggled, when the Japanese defence is set. Not this time, though.
Good pass to Chris Bond. And a New South Welshman combines with a Queenslander, and the Steelers, they get try number 27 of the game. 30-27, the margin 3. Final minute of the first half. Big 55 seconds here. So many tactics can go on in these 55 seconds. Ikazaki up the middle of the court. He'll zip away and go over for the try. 43 seconds left. Interesting play, because 40 seconds left on that shot clock and 43 seconds on the game clock. You rarely see those two in synergy. So Australia, if they can get some points here, they've got to be crucial of that time and try and just get that margin back to 3 points, as I think it was Bondi that's gone for a bit of a spill.
Well, this is going to be an interesting call. Is he looking for a timeout as he's going to the ground there, unless it was an illegal contact?
Here's the replay here.
So Bondi getting shoved from behind.
Yeah, Shimakawa was on the fringe, wasn't he? He's up on his feet, which is good, on his wheels. So good stuff there from Chris Bondi. And Haga inbounds it. 41 seconds left.
Japan ball.
So Ikazaki now has Kurahashi in front. Tries to work. Nice pass over the top with a molten ball. Haga gives it back to Ikazaki. Ikazaki working inside the final 30 seconds. Now it goes back to the captain in Yukinobu Ike. Ike works it. Bondi comes at him. Keeps the molten ball alive. Tries to pop the pass and does to Ikazaki. Ikazaki threads the needle. Nice work from Haga. Back to Iki. Iki now gives it to Ikazaki. Ikazaki holds the pass. 7 seconds left on the clock. Haga for the line. Bondi says no, but Haga says yes. And the try is Team Japan's. 32-27. 5 seconds left. What a play from Team Japan, Molly.
Yeah, what a great way to work the clock down then. We've only got 3 seconds to go. But Australia with the ball now, and it makes it so easy for Riley Bat.
Yes! Gets the try for Australia. What a finish to the first half. Wow!
Nothing on the clock. It's not just a game of centimetres, it's a game of microseconds. And 32-28.
Molly, take us through this amazing replay.
Oh, well, look at that. All it is Bat and Bond working together again, and they just manage to find themselves in space, and he just gets over the line so easily, which works in Australia's favour, because we're now sitting at 28 and Japan are only at 32. So we have a bit of work to do, but not as much as earlier on.
You couldn't even fit a credit card through the gap, Steve. It was that thin.
Well,
unbelievable stuff from Bat.
Yeah, 18 to 13 that quarter to Japan, so they've done a great job. They did lead by 5 at one point. It's just back to 4, but it's very much Japan's first half in the end.
We'll take a break. On the other side, stay with us. All the action of the second half between Australia and Japan. It's the gold medal match at the 2018 IWRF GIO Wheelchair Rugby World Championship.
Hello, Jean. Good of you to let your husband borrow your brand new car. Your insurance covers you, though, right?
I think so.
Ah, Jenny, you got a new employee and a new Narazzo 1300. That machine's insured, isn't it? Date night, eh?
Yeah, and our daughter's having a few friends over.
Yeah, I saw that on social media. I take it your home is insured for that. Don't just think you're covered, know you are with GIO.
See, feel, climb. First out, last in. Look round corners, look in crannies. Go down dark alleys, lose yourself. Catch a lift, break new ground. Turn things inside out. Go walkabout, get set. Go after the goosebumps. Never stop discovering.
Linda, Lindsay, look at you two. Date night?
Our daughter set it up.
Well, that is a thoughtful child.
I know, right? She even booked us dinner in a hotel. She might even have a few friends over.
Yeah, I reckon there's 120 people coming to your house tonight. You are insured, aren't you? Don't just think your home is covered. Know it is. With accidental damage cover with GIO Platinum Home Insurance.
With 1 minute to go at the long break, it is Japan 32, Australia 28. Let's welcome on back on the court the Australian Steelers. They need your help. Keep center ready.
Good to have you with us. Now the key centre, Olympic Park. This is the gold medal match. Australia and Japan. 2018 World Championships, wheelchair rugby, and Japan. It's unfamiliar territory for them. Have not won a gold medal. They were bronze medalists in Rio at the Paralympics and also at the 2010 Worlds. But they have got half the job done, if you like, as they lead by 4 with 2 quarters to come.
So here we go, the second half of the gold medal final. 32-28 in favour of Japan. Japan on the flank. And they get the first points through Daisuke Ikazaki. One of the high pointers. Bondi nicely into Bat. Bat just works through the line. Ben Fawcett protects it beautifully. 7:42 left in this third term. Oh, nice little pivot and turn from Riley Bat. He just moves so subtly, but it's just so brilliant, Molly.
It really is, isn't it? You know, I jumped in a chair the other day and I actually realised how hard it is to manoeuvre those things around the court. So watching them do it, they make it look easy.
I see them carving your name out on the scoreboard there, scoring 2 tries.
Well, you know.
Classic Wallabies. Late inclusion, Steve. She got about 15 minutes notice, so not bad.
Always ready. She was born ready, she tells me.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And then I got my thumb caught in the wheel.
Do not do that.
So Riley Bat works it nicely. 34-29 becomes 34-30. Australia on the return. Down by 4 though, so some work to do. They need to force a mistake and a couple of turnovers, especially in this third term, to really put the pressure on Japan in the final quarter. Ikazaki, nice pass across. Haga juggles.
Oh, lost
Can't
it.
Get it. Oh, that's exactly what Australia needed.
Never give up on the chase. That's the lesson right there, and Bat never does.
I think that's the first time commentators' curse has gone the other way, Steve.
Well, they need 2 or 3 of them. Oh, they've given it straight back.
Oh, it goes to Ikazaki. Couldn't be taken by Bat. Bat's calling for a wheel. Equipment change, so there might be an interesting call here.
Well,
34-30, just over 7 to play. This is an interesting situation in the game.
You can see a bit of frustration on Riley Bat's face there as he's had his head down in his lap before, just really frustrated over how they lost that ball then.
Nicely plays it back into Ike. Ike just works it around Bondi. Fires the pass across to Ikazaki. Kaya Kurahashi in the key. Ikazaki spins and turns more than Lionel Richie in a film clip. Now he moves it beautifully through the key. Tries to go at the line. Plenty of space right in front of him. Pops the pass. Haga gets it, does he? Yes! He goes for the try. 35-30 in favour of Japan.
It was a real boost for Japan that when they turned the ball over a minute ago, they got it straight back. That's a huge lift for them. What's going to be interesting to watch is knowing that Japan have not been in a gold medal game before, whether the enticing prospect of winning it messes with them with their execution late in the game, or will they remain cool as they have been in this match so far?
Haga gives it away nicely to Ikazaki. Ikazaki just tries to come in there. Kurahashi preventing Michael Ozan. And now Iki and Ikazaki combine. Ikazaki pops the pass. The captain, Yukinobu Ike, scores for Japan.
Well, they're just playing a 3-on-2 deliciously there, Japan. They had no problem at all.
Australia undefeated going into this game. Japan, of course, just having one loss against Australia on Wednesday night. And Riley Batt goes through for the try. That was the last pool game before the finals. Of course, Australia beat Great Britain, and Japan, some say, upset Team USA, who won bronze earlier today over Great Britain. Nice pass to Ikazaki.
Doesn't look like an upset now, does it, as Japan continue to lead the world #1 ranked Australians.
Probably the biggest lead of the game, Steve, 5 points.
Yeah, they had 5 in the second quarter at 1 point.
So, Ben Fawcett to Riley Batt. Nice pass over the top. One bounce into the card of Chris Bond, and he gets a bit of a bump from Masayuki Haga, but that won't matter. He'll go over for the try, and the margin now 4. Australia, they've really got a lift here, find something and just turn some possession over. But this Team Japan side, they are brilliant. Speak of the devil, he's lost it. Ikazaki, Bondi might have lost it. Back and forth, there you go. That's what they needed. Oh, I'm going to say that more often. What a try! Riley Batt gets it. Brilliant stuff from the Steelers, Molly.
Yeah, wasn't that amazing? And it's all about seizing those opportunities as well. So you want to try and push the mistake. The mistake was made. The ball kind of just went everywhere then, but Australia was so lucky to get that ball back and get over that line again, because that's exactly what we need.
Nice work from Ikazaki. Look at the pressure from Bondi. And listen to the crowd from Australia. 3 points the margin. Big, big turn in the final. 37-34. Jeez, big shift here in the last probably 25 seconds, Molly. Japan will make some changes, but all the pressure goes back on Team Japan for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Japan have been the more dominant side throughout the game over the last 2 quarters, but you can see now that Australia have really picked up their game since that halftime break. So I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall.
Nice work from Batt. Big collision close to the line. Batt does it again. Margin back to 2.
Ike put a lot of pressure on him next to that left-hand cone coming in, but Batt withstood the challenge.
Ikazaki just goes around Bondi, tips him over, unfortunately. No, he stays on 2 wheels, which is good. And he goes there for the try. So the margin back to 3, Molly. Real back-and-forth wheelchair rugby here at the moment.
This is it, the back-and-forth wheelchair rugby that we've seen all week as well. And we saw it in the game the other day when these two teams faced each other. Again, Australia was able to keep on top of that one, but Japan are just playing absolutely amazingly today. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
Ben Fawcett to inbound it. Gives it nicely to Bondi. Bondi works there. Here comes Nodamatsu, but he can't catch the Queenslander. Ike tries his best too.
Oh, it's good use of the punch pass there. Batt was all tied up with the defence.
Nodamatsu now to inbound. Works across the court. Gives it to Ike. Ike looking for Ikazaki. Finds him. Kishi nicely working protection on Chris Bond. Now Ikazaki works it down the flank. Tries to go left and right through the middle. Fires the... No, he doesn't fire the pass. Listen to this crowd. This is what you live for. Absolutely brilliant from the Steelers.
So possession to the Australians, with Japan for a change failing to get it out of the backcourt.
So 2 points the margin, 38-36. Hasn't this game really lifted in the last little period, Molly?
Yeah, Australia have really upped their game now, and they're applying a lot of pressure, and they're trying to force the mistakes. The mistakes are being made. They're taking absolute advantage of the fact that Japan are maybe dropping the bundle just a little bit.
How many coaches have you played under, Molly, who've said to you, don't just create a turnover, convert it. It's not good enough to get the ball back. You've got to do something with it. Once or twice Australia's been guilty of not doing that, but here in the third, it's a little better.
Well, that's it. The pep talk at halftime must have been a good one because they've really picked up their game here.
So nicely worked inbound from Bond to Bat. Bat under some pressure, needs to get the Molten ball loose. Ikazaki, you can see, ripping and tearing, gets the pass over nicely to Bond. The crowd get behind this try. Oh, that's brilliant. Riley Bat, what a try. Plucked it out of nothing, Molly, and scores another great one for the Steelers.
Yeah, that's it. And again, Bat and Bond, they've got such good connectivity and support of one another as well. We've seen it all week, and we're seeing it in today's game as well.
Ikazaki now trying to get Japan to that 2-try lead. They currently lead by 1, as you can see. 4.5 to play before three-quarter time. Big final term coming up. Australia, they've really lifted in this term, Steve. They needed to.
Yeah, and they are outscoring Japan in this third quarter, having been down 32-28 at half-time. Australia having led 15-14 at quarter time. So it's a game of swinging momentums. Expect nothing less when you bring the top two teams together after a week of competition.
Ben Fawcett will try and inbound it, but there's been, I think, an equipment timeout called, or possibly a stoppage in play. Yeah, there's been a timeout called for Australia. So they'll make a shift there from Fawcett to Bond. Bond will inbound it nicely to Riley Bat. Big shout out to Antonio Vecchio, one of the great Australian players. He's watching this coverage from Holland. Nice pass to Bat. Brilliant to Bond. Oh, that's great stuff from Australia.
Use the floor. Yeah, use the floor for the bounce pass. You see it in plenty of sports, and expertly used by Australia at that time.
Ike takes it up the court, tries to go inside the line, threads the needle, finds, draws the man. Ikazaki now, work to do. Notamatsu in the key. He tries to go in a defensive pattern, creates a hole. Ikazaki to Ike, and Ike will go through. So the margin back to 2. Swings and roundabouts in this wheelchair rugby world championship final. Who's going to take gold? Bond, game on the line. Bat now with the ball. Keeps it alive. So important to do that. Now it's to get out of the defensive pattern. Smart play. Beautiful pick-up on the half volley from Bondi. Now gets it back to Bat. Bat works it nicely. Ozan in the key. Here comes Bat working it across. 40-38. Goes the left flank. Nice from Bat.
Well, Bond was blocking the traffic across the key there to allow that to happen. There's an understanding between these two that's pretty special. And out it goes.
Turnover. The crowd getting behind that one. Nice pass. Can they tie it up here? This will give us a thrilling 3 minutes of this third term. Bat comes at the key. Now needs to calm it down. This is vitally important for Australia. They were down by as many as 5. Now they're trying to get square level at 40 all. Japan doing their best to prevent. Ozan working hard in the key. Crowd getting behind Riley Bat. Look at the Batman, zip and tear. Gets it. We're tied up, Stevie. Locked up at 40 all.
I reckon Brad Duberly must have said at halftime, come on, boys, how badly do you want this? You know, you're the Rio champions, London champions, you're world champions. Come on, do it on home soil. It's a tough thing to do. Japan looking for their first ever. They want it just as badly. Another turnover. And the crowd is going nuts.
Molly, you're loving this. What a turnover for the Steelers.
Oh, haven't they made a comeback in this third quarter? This is incredible. And you can see that Japan are getting really frustrated about all the silly little mistakes that they're making now. And this is what happens at this part of the game. It's all about mistakes and what you do with them as that other side, if you capitalise on it or not. And you can really tell that Australia want this win.
12-8. To Australia in this third quarter has enabled them to climb back to level terms.
So Bat will take it nicely.
Needs some help.
Works his way through. Look at the Batman. Weaving, tearing, going. Yes, he's got it. They've got the lead, the Steelers. What a turnaround, Molly. Unbelievable. Down by 5. Now they lead by 1.
Oh, in typical Australia fashion. They want this so bad.
Goes out of bounds.
Look at that.
He takes out the Land Rover sign. Oh.
That's what pressure will do. That's not just scoreboard pressure. That's physical pressure from the Australians. And it's forced Japan to think about their situation and the opportunity they have to win a first World Championship.
And that's why they call it the championship quarter. Australia are really lifting here. It looks very comfortable at stages. Oh, I've run out of superlatives, Molly, for Riley. Just incredible. But Bondi was brilliant there too.
Aren't they just the dynamic duo, those two?
So 14-8 the quarter now in Australia's favour to turn this right around.
Shimakawa working through the key. Up the middle, keeps the ball alive. Bit of pressure from Bat. But Ike, safe hands. Gets Japan within 1. 42-41. Oh, I think we could be going to overtime.
Oh, don't say that.
Bat nicely through the line. Ball
oh,
goes no. Changeover. Commentator's curse has struck, Steve.
Pressure back from Japan. What a turnover for them. And the key is open, and they unlock another try.
So they're tied up at 42 apiece. Just over 90 seconds to go before three-quarter time.
That was just a bad decision by Australia that created that turnover. And, you know, that they've got to be feeling some fatigue in this third quarter. They've really made a huge effort. Oh, it's another soft one. But again, it's pressure on Bat this time, and he's created another turnover.
Yeah, Ike charges, passes nicely. Haga, it's Shimakawa, in fact. Goes left and right through the lines, and he'll get the try. So Japan get the lead. Wow, what a shift.
Yeah.
1:21 left to play. Here comes Australia. Look at them lift here. The crowd getting behind them here at the Key Centre. Bondi works it nicely. Has Bat just in the fringe. Gives the molten ball back to him. Bat now just calms it down. Ozan working nicely on the left side.
He's just saying calm it down. A little shake of the head. The body language from Bat just not positive there for a moment.
20 seconds left on the clock. Bat tries to find a hole. Brilliant defence, Michael Ozan. A Queenslander protecting a New South Welshman. And Bat goes through for the try, Molly.
Well, this is what you need out there as well. Like you said, Steve, we saw Riley, who was out there, is telling everyone to calm down because he could really tell that they were starting to lose their heads again a little bit. So it's great to see that there's experienced players like him out there getting the team back in check.
Oh, finally judged pass, and Japan get another and get in front.
So Masayuga Haga on that occasion getting the try. Kevin Orr, he's making plenty of noise on the sideline, the coach of Japan. Brad Duberly seems a little calm, but he'll be no doubt lifting his side as he has right throughout the tournament. Australia undefeated. Nicely works from Bondi. Gives it away to Bat for the intercept. Crucial mistake. Team Japan, they take that opportunity, and Ike, the captain, scores. Margin back to 2. Work to do for Australia. Bat works it nicely. Inside the final 30 seconds of the third term. Tries to go at the line. Bat just comes. Big collision. Player down. Got a feeling it is Ike, I think. So Yukinobu Ike's taken a spill. He'll be back on 2 wheels, which is good to see.
Now, Australia created a turnaround of 4 or 5 there, and there's always the temptation, even if you tell yourself not to, just take your foot off the gas a little bit. And it's very hard to maintain the kind of charge Australia was on there. And it's allowed Japan to retake the lead, and 23 seconds left in the third quarter. All on for the last quarter.
Certainly is, Molly. 22 seconds away from that break between 3 and 4. Huge 8 minutes coming up for both teams.
This is going to be the decider. I'm stressed right now. I've got like sweaty palms going on, and oh my God, this is an insane game. This is even more stressful than the other day when they faced off against each other. There's so much, and they all know there's so much at stake here. It's a gold medal, and this is what they're here for.
So Riley Bat just soaking up some last time in this third term with 0.3 of a second
You wouldn't want to muck that up, would you?
Oh, wow, that's good. That's really good. So 0.3 of a second. Japan will count it down. What a championship quarter from both sides. Japan lead it narrowly, 45-44. Massive final term coming up. Stay with us. It should be a ripper.
Thanks, Gary. Down here on centre court. Fourth quarter about to begin.
Well, 16-13. Australia won that third quarter. They won the first as well, 15-14, but they were swept aside in the second virtually, 18-13 by Japan, and so they do still lead it. But as the bodies start to tire and the minds start to get a bit fuzzy in the last 8 minutes, it's all about turnovers.
I think mine's getting a bit fuzzy. I think that's a bit for us, Molly, isn't it? We've called about 16 games, I think, together.
It has been a big week, but it's been an exciting week.
Yeah.
You know, not going to lie, Sunday I had no idea what I was walking into. I'd never seen wheelchair rugby, but I thought I would just come out here and do my best and try and learn as much as I could. But what I've found is that I'm absolutely in love with this game, and it has blown me away. And it's the physicality, the aggression, the athleticism. I have so much respect for these players, and this is like my new favourite sport.
It's been a big week for you. You made your debut in the commentary box calling the sport. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I can't keep track. You played for the Classic Wallabies, so you made your debut playing the sport. It's been a big week for you, mate.
I wouldn't call it playing, though. I think I just sat out there in a chair and rolled around and tried to I just couldn't figure out how to turn.
Well, hey, they wrote Molly Gray on the score sheet, so you did all right.
Thank you.
Big final term coming up here, Steve, between these two sides. Margin is just one, but, you know, after what we saw in that third term, this really could go any way, couldn't it?
Yeah, Kishi is on for Japan in 15, but the restart coming from Australia's Chris Bond.
So nicely played, force it. Oh, just juggled there by Lees. In fact, it's Ozan. And the ref comes in and calls it. So 45-44.
Turnover
by one.
That's effectively a turnover as possession arrow goes to Japan.
So Noramatsu gives it inbound nicely to Ike. Ikazaki now just trying to work through the key. Nice threading the needle pass. Noramatsu, veteran to veteran, try for Japan. They lead by 2, 46-44. Molly, we saw Japan lead by as much as 5 in that third term. Australia pegged back. They need to force the mistake. And what else do you think they need to do in this final term?
You know what? It's all about intensity and it's all about momentum, and they really need to start gelling together like they've never gelled together before if that's what they want to do to take out this win. And it's about... it's just about staying calm as well. They really can't lose their heads. We've got, 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go. This is where it all counts.
So they play the line nicely. Ike, the captain, looks for some support. Has Ike just on the fringe. Round the back he goes. Tries to go at the line. Upsets Riley back close to the line, but Riley comes at him again. Ike just tries to go, and he provides nice protection. Noramatsu. And Ike goes through for the try, a captain's try. Brings it back to 2, Steve. Final term.
Yeah, I wonder what Kevin Orr might have said to this great Japanese team looking for a little piece of history. You know, we're just 2 years out from the Tokyo Paralympics and Olympics, and so often you see teams in various sports for the host nation lifting. This is new territory for Japan right now. What will they be like in 2 years' time on their home court? And this is about the time of year as well. In late July, August are the Olympics, and a bit later for the Paralympics. So this is the time in 2 years when Japan will be looking for this team to do something special.
Well, it was a big bump and shove between Bat and Ike, but Ikazaki scores for Japan. 48-46 now, the margin 2, as you can see, 6:53 left in this game, as Fawcett will inbound for Australia. The Steelers now on the attack. Riley back, just giving a bit of grief to Ike there. You saw that. Noramatsu now coming in, trying to help out his teammate. Up the sideline. Bat goes, pushes his way through. Nice stuff. Nice protection from Chris Bond. Great try there from Riley Bat, Steve.
Oh, how tough is he? How much effort was that? What's he got left in the bat tank? There's still 6:40 to go, and Australia's got to try and muscle out a couple of turnovers. And I was just thinking that Kevin Orr would have said, give me 8 minutes, Japan, of your best wheelchair rugby. Make it mistake-free, and you'll get there.
Noramatsu scores for Japan. Now Bondi on the charge, gives it into Bat. Bat just tries to work his way through along Ike, and he goes along the far sideline. Holy wheelchair rugby. The Batman scores another one. 49-48. Back to one. Just need to force the mistake now, this Steelers. Noramatsu will inbound it. Gives it over the top. Ike now tries to play it. Gives it beautifully to Ikazaki. Kishi working nicely in defence. Ikazaki, bit of pressure there from Bat. Ikazaki working to the line, over the halfway line. Tapped away. That's what they needed. Brilliant stuff from Bond. Here comes Bat. Can he get there? Yes, he can. We're all squared up. 49 apiece.
The intercept touch was crucial. I was thinking that double overtime win in Rio. How many times can you go to the well in a tight match?
Oh, I'm starting to get clammy in the hands, Molly. Unbelievable. What a tense final. All locked up, under 6 to play. 49 apiece. Incredible stuff here at the Key Centre.
Well, these are the best types of finals, aren't they? You don't want to see Australia go out there or Japan go out there and just absolutely smash the team that they're playing for that gold medal. You want to see battles like this because you want to find out who's the best. And right now, I have no idea because we're sitting at 49 and I'm still stressed. I'm even more stressed now.
Being way in front is fine if you're that team, though, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think as a spectator as well, you know, just to get into it. Like,
of course.
Well, Steve, I think the first one you and I called went to double overtime between Japan and New South Wales. This may be going the same way. 49 apiece inside 6 minutes. Bat works it nicely, force it on the protection. Great work from Michael Ozan to stop out Haga. But Bat goes up the middle, and the Steelers, Molly, get the lead.
How good. This is what you want to see from them right now. They've been trailing Japan for quite some time, so straight back over the top we go.
Shimakawa works it through the key. Great work from Fawcett and Ozan. Nicely there from Bondi. Tapped over the top. Ikazaki worked it nicely. Ike gives it to Haga. And Japan score the try to tie us up at 50 all with 5.5 to play. If we do go to overtime, it'll be periods of 3 minutes. We just keep going until a result. As Bat, he comes forward for Australia. These final 5 and a bit minutes are so crucial for both sides. Oh, Shimakawa almost got Bat there, Steve. But
yeah, Shimakawa was coming across. He was tempted, I think, to make a lunge at the axle.
Shimakawa nicely moves it across court. He comes for Japan, and he squares it at 51 apiece. Terrific back and forth stuff here, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, great work there by Japan. He just put his head down and he just went for it. But Bondi was right on his tail. But, yeah, just too good from Japan then.
So Ben Fawcett now will inbound it for Australia. Huge opportunity for the Steelers. If they can get points here and then force a mistake, everything changes in the final. We've got just over 5 to play. Bat, open court. Bondi, the crowd are behind him. And the Queenslander goes over for another try. 52-51, Australia lead. Now, Molly, they need to force the mistake.
That's exactly what they need to do if they want to take this one out.
Shimakawa will play it. Back comes Shimakawa. Tries to get around Kura Kurahashi. Nicely worked there. And it'll be a try to Shinichi Shimakawa. And the try leads to a 52-all scoreline. Under 5 to play, Steve. Big final 5 coming up.
You know, isn't it amazing? You're going to have a week of competition and all tied up with under 5 minutes left in the week, if you like. That's what it comes down to. And that's what coaches and players plan for and think about, and the sports psychologists are there for. Okay, you just think about the process. Don't worry about the outcome. Just one moment of the game at a time.
Bondi over the top to Bat. Here's the Batman. Shimakawa can't catch him. Bat goes through, gives the Australians the lead, 53-52. They'll be the first team, Molly, to defend their title on home soil in World Championships. That's got to be playing on the mind of Brad Dooley and the players.
Yeah, do you know what? It's definitely something that would be sitting there in their minds. But like you said, Steve, when you brought up the process, then it's all about the process. And if they just sort of tune everything else out and focus on exactly what they're doing on the court right now, that is what will help them secure this win today. If they let all the distractions in, who knows what's going to happen.
So a little bit of an equipment issue for Japan. And Haga, all good now.
So 53-52 and no timeouts left. No coach timeouts, no regular timeouts. 4.5 minutes of wheelchair rugby to come. Who's going to take it? Ike goes through and we're all locked up at 53 all. Going back and forth nicely. Goes to Bat. Bat from Bond. Bat now over the top to Bond. Bond, you can't give him that much space. The Queenslander tries to go at him. And Haga did his best to try and stop the progression.
I think he's just making a statement there. He really didn't need to do that because he had the speed. But just to let Haga know what was going on.
Shimakawa now, Bat needs to force the mistake. Kurahashi coming in support. Interesting to see if she plays a role.
Nah, Bat.
Striking call from Bat.
He's off to
illegal use of the hands.
Yeah, he's off to the penalty box. Took the odds to it.
Not a bad time, I suppose, if ever, for it to happen, because Japan are behind. Because all they can do, really, Molly, is just lock us up at 54 all. So if there's ever a time for the Batman to go to the box, it's a pretty good one right now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think they're just going to work the clock a little bit here, and you know they've got 40 seconds to play around with the ball, so that's probably what they're going to do.
35 seconds left on that shot clock now. Ikazaki slowing it down. Bondi just trying to get a little bit cheeky close to that try line to try and get the ball there, but Ikazaki won't be having any of it. 3.5 to play. World Championship final. Gold medal on the line. Who's going to take it? Australia or Japan? Will the Australians remain undefeated, or will Japan come through and get their first medal at a World Championship? An historic moment for Team Japan. I'm sure there'll be plenty of fans in their home country watching this broadcast as Bondi works it nicely. We're 54 all. Nice pass to Bat. Bat around Kurahashi, and he goes through for the try. And Australia, Molly, they get the lead again.
Here we go. We're on a roll again. Hopefully they can start to pick up the intensity a bit now, and even if they start to bring their physicality up to that next level, because that's what you really need with 3 minutes remaining on the clock.
On a roll, one of your best. Ikazaki goes through nicely, scores the try, and we're all locked up at 55 apiece, Steve.
Well, it's about the next turnover, isn't it? If there isn't one. Oh.
Turnover. Oh, we've got a Falcon. Goes off the head of Michael Ozan and out of bounds.
And here is the chance for Japan to make a statement. Under pressure, the Australians offered up possession.
So 55 all. Crucial time for Australia. Can they force the mistake? Ikazaki to the try line. Ozan can't catch him. And he goes through for the try. Under 3 minutes. Japan lead it. 56-55. Now Bondi will play it from the key. Inbound to Bat. Bat just juggles the ball but does well. Bit of a bump and shove from Ikazaki. Great battle between these two veterans. Ozan working it nicely in protection. Force it too. Great work from Bat. And we're all locked up, Steve, at 56 apiece.
Yeah, and from Australia's point of view, they've got to find something extra in defence now. You know, this block and pass game that Japan plays so beautifully is serving them well towards the end of the match.
Ikazaki will go through for the try line, and 57-56. So now the pressure goes back on Japan slightly, Molly. They now have to try and force a mistake for the Steelers.
Yeah, they do, don't they? If they want to be able to stop this tit-for-tat wheelchair rugby, that's exactly what they're going to need to do. But hopefully Australia can just keep the momentum rising.
Force it inbounds it nicely to Bat, and Bond rather, and Bondi will get the try. So 57 all. Nice little pass there. Limited real estate for Chris Bond to work with, but he didn't seem to struggle. nicely to Ikazaki. Ikazaki works it through the line, throws the pass across court, and it'll be the captain, Yukinobu Ike, that goes over and gives Japan the lead. 58-57. 2.5 to go, Steve. This big final minute is going to be enormous.
I just wonder how the mindset is of this great Japanese team. You know, they've been moving up steadily through world rankings, and in the minds of critics and fans of the game, they know that Japan were always likely to do something when they came to this tournament, do something special. Well, they've made the final for the first time. Can they win it at the first crack?
Intercept taken. Kaya Kurahashi almost got it, but Bondi's magic fingers is the difference. And it goes back to 58. So nicely worked here from Japan. They'll try and just get the ball inbound. Australia looking to force the mistake to try and get the lead and somewhat of an advantage. Ikazaki will slow down the clock. Referee comes in. No timeouts left. So we'll come back and inbound it for Team Japan. So it'll be, I think, Haga. Yes. Haga will inbound it. Ikazaki now has it. He will slow down the clock. Bat's coming at him. Interesting battle here, Steve.
Yeah, you start to think about the clock now with 2 minutes to go. 40 seconds for each try scoring opportunity. So they're starting to do the maths, knowing that they've got the advantage. They go one up and then Australia replies. One up and then Australia replies. But you just got to milk that the way you want to, and just remain mistake-free, and it's on the plate of Japan.
Riley Bat and Ike sharing a bit of a joke there. Team reaching for the molten ball. Couldn't get it, unfortunately, but we play on. So 59-58, Japan lead by 1. Bat under some pressure. Now tries to work down the train tracks. 59-58, straight up the middle, Riley Bat. His mate Bondi works nicely in protection. Ikazaki can't get him, and Bat scores the try, and we're locked up, Molly. 90 seconds to go, 59 all.
This is such a crucial part of the game right now. We're running out of time, and we are still tit for tat. The scores are locked up, and Japan take a bit of a fall there.
So it'll be Ike that goes to ground. Takes out Serena with the camera there, doing a great job taking photos right across the week. You'll be able to catch all those photos on Facebook and social media platforms for GIO Wheelchair Rugby. Ike back on 2 wheels, which is good. 60-59. Just under 90 seconds to play.
Just watching off camera there, Jono, there's Kevin Orr just pumping the fist. Come on, Lois, just get it done. You've got less than 90 seconds to see through this World Championship, and a moment that would be really treasured in Japanese sport.
So we go through, and Bat under some pressure, under some real pressure. Nice pivot and spin. Work to do. Might need some help here. Fires the pass. Bondi, it'll be a miracle if he gets it. No, can't get it. Ikazaki gets it, and Japan respond. And now they lead by 2. What a shift with 1:10 to go.
That could be it right there.
Wow.
That's the scoreboard talking to you again. Australia knew they had to score. The defensive pressure on the inbound passes for Australia from Japan has been extraordinary.
Bondi's copped a heavy knock there from Daisuke Ikazaki as you were talking there, Steve. This will be interesting to see what happens here. The refs coming in, making their call. He looked... Would he hurt? Unfortunately, Bondi, because he was grabbing his hip as he fell. Take us through this replay here, Molly.
Oh, you can just see here, just the way the Bondi's moving around, and then Ikazaki just turns on him and flips him up as he hits the back of his wheel.
And lands on that left shoulder too, Molly.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a bit of pain, but he's all right. He's a fighter. He'll keep going.
Tough Queenslander doing his best.
1:03. Japan by 2. Gold medal game, World Championships 2018. Hope you're enjoying this wheelchair rugby wherever you might be watching. And it's Japan's to win or lose now.
So now Riley Bat will try and get the Steelers back within 1 inside the final minute. 57 seconds. Cometh the man, cometh the champion. That's what we're looking for here in this final. 61-60. Will we go to overtime, or will Japan win an historic first gold medal at a World Championship? Over the top they go. Nicely to Ike. The captain to Ikazaki. Fires the pass. Trouble at the junction. Hager under some pressure. Works it nicely. Tapped over the top. Back couldn't get it. Bondi now comes in. Ikazaki slows it down. 40 seconds left, as you can see. 61-60. Ikazaki will take up some time. 18 seconds on the clock. He gets it. 35 seconds. 2-try margin. Goes across nicely. Bat just juggles under some pressure from Japan. Look at the Team Japan lift. Under 30 seconds to play. Australia look as though they're going to pick up a silver medal. But Bondi says, hang on a minute. I've got another try in the bank. And we're 62-61. Massive 20 seconds coming up here, Molly Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. This is crucial times right now. If Australia want this, they've really got to do something. But Japan just look like they're going to come away with the gold.
15 seconds to go. Ikazaki over the top. The captain to Ike. Can Ozan get it for Australia? No, he can't. Juggled. Lost possession.
Oh, 6 seconds.
Hang on a minute. Hold all tickets. 5 seconds to go. Japan inbound it. Riley Bat goes at the line. Can the Batman do it for Australia? Fires the pass. No. Drama at the key centre. A remarkable finish to an incredible game. Japan, history-making win here at the key centre. They are world champions, deserving world champions. Look at the celebrations. I've got tingles. What a finish.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that for Japan, making history tonight in Sydney. What a team. They are on the ramp upwards in wheelchair rugby. Beaten in the rounds, doesn't matter. It's about the gold medal game, and they've done it by one. They were just that little bit steadier, gave up fewer turnovers, and the Australians have to tip their hat to Japan today. We've got new world champions in 2018. It is Japan, 62-61 over Australia.
Oh, tears across the court for Japan. A brilliant performance from both sides. The Australian Steelers, they suffer their first loss. Oh, Molly Gray, you started with this sport on Sunday 6 days ago. How are you feeling now, kid?
Oh, I am just, you know what? I'm actually heartbroken for Australia. I really am. Like, I feel like I'm feeling it so much right now, that loss. But listen, you've got to give it to Japan. That was absolutely out of control. And what a stellar performance. You know, the better team came away with the win because both teams just came out absolutely guns blazing. And it all comes down to who makes the least mistakes on the day. And it was Japan. And, oh, look at this. You know, you've got Australia here. Everyone's on their feet cheering the guys. They did such a good job.
Yeah, terrific scenes. Australia once again have done us proud. Like to give a big shout out to some of the commentators that joined us this week. Gary Pate, Grant Sharman, Bevan Jenkinson, Dave Mengen, all done a wonderful job. Calvin Hewitt as well. Steve Rebellion as well. An awesome job in the final in the bronze. And Molly Gray, one word sums you up, your new nickname, outstanding.
It's been a pleasure to be here and to see this great team. They win with humility, they lose with grace, and I'm a big fan of the way the Japanese play their sport. And Australia, no disgrace in going down to this team. It just shows you how hard it is to carry those saddlebags of expectation around when you're the host nation defending a world championship, because everyone's after you, and Japan too good today.
Yeah, 4 years ago, Australia, they picked up gold. Today they walk away with silver, but it's all about Team Japan. Their crowd is here. Their country is proud. They are deserving champions of the 2018 GIO IWRF Wheelchair Rugby Championships. What a final, what a way to finish this tournament over an incredible 6 days, Molly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had an absolute blast. I feel like I've learned so much and just got so involved in this sport. And Do you know what? Like I said earlier, my new favourite sport, I think, and everyone has just put on such a great show for all of us. So, do you know what? Well done to all the teams out there because they were just outstanding.
Of course, that brings us to a close. As you can see, Team Japan on your screen, they're celebrating a very historic win. Coach Kevin Orr, take a bow. The entire Japanese team, so brilliant. I've seen them 3 times. Every time I see them, they walk away with gold. 3 times the charm. A terrific performance from both sides. Final score, Japan 62-61. A dramatic final. A brilliant way to finish these championships. My name is John O'Farr. On behalf of Molly Gray and Steve Rebillid and all the media commentary team, we bid you farewell from the Key Centre.